Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi folks, welcome back. From the Philadelphia Inquirer. Normally I don't go here, but I saw this article come up, and it's an opinion piece, as you can see. And it's from a lefty, a big-time lefty, and they're panicking. Of course, it's all the Republicans cheating, but I wanted you to see how badly they're scrambling with polls and gerrymandering, making the GOP House all but inevitable 2023. You mean like how they gerrymandered Illinois, the Democrats, and pushed out Kinzinger, the one that sided against Trump that's a Republican? So they rewarded him by lining his district out, so he retired. These guys are so bad. They suck so bad. Americans need to ponder a year that could tear the nation apart. Dun, dun, dun. I love that, though. Please resign. Imagine this. I have to get my announcer's voice. Imagine this. It's a gray, chilly day in Washington, D.C. in March of 2023. A handful of protesters from left-leaning groups like Indivisible and huddle outside the icy Potomac winds. But mostly there's a climate of disbelief in the nation's capital as the GOP-dominant House of Representatives wraps up debate over the impeachment of Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., 46th President of the United States. It's been a little more than 5 months since the Republicans gained 43 House seats in 2022 midterms, many in newly gerrymandered seats. The GOP cheated. And since the incoming chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan of Ohio, started studying a menu of equally off-the-wall options. I'm sorry, let me continue. I've got to be serious here. Hunter Biden's laptop, the Afghan withdrawal, or something unprecedented about the president's mental acuity for Biden impeachment hearings. Off-the-wall options. What President Biden did, getting millions funneled to his son and some funneled to him through his son from Ukraine, threatening a prosecutor that if he didn't stop going after the company that his son was on a board of, and they had the balls to say it was Trump, they made a deal with Ukraine, they impeached him for it. I hope and I pray they go after all of them, not just Biden, but all of them. All of them. In the end, Jordan and his colleagues, including the radical QAnon conspiracy theorists who replaced GOP moderates Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, decided that the pretext didn't matter that much. GOP moderates, are you out of your freaking mind? These people are so panicked. And this is why I'm even reading this, because this guy is such a progressive that makes me want to puke. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who staved off a challenge to his leadership by flying to Mar-a-Lago and promising Donald Trump that Biden, just like his predecessor, would wear the stain of impeachment. The Scarlet Letter. Dun, dun, dun. Deliver the closing speech and know that Republicans had promised to end this age of decline and end this presidency. A code pink protester burst onto the floor and screamed, "Why are you doing this?" before two burly guards dragged her out, while a handful of Trump supporters in the gallery began chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." You know what? If this is what he's afraid of, I'm glad, because I hope exactly goes down like this. It's not the QAnon people that are doing it. They're a tiny, tiny, tiny percent of the so-called right. Yeah, they're a little wacky, no question. I mean, who isn't to a certain extent? Yeah, they believe a lot of stuff that's just tinfoil hat stuff. I get it. But here's the thing. There are a tiny percent of the Republicans, the progressive cult-like members, zombies, are a vast majority of the Democrat Party. This is America's immediate future, and yet, with all the sometimes ridiculous inside the Beltway speculation about less urgent and less likely matters, like whether Democrats ditch Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris for Pete Buttigieg, it's clear that neither the press, the public, nor the political classes are truly ready for the year that is going to shake American democracy to its core. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's just amazing to me how they don't have Kinzinger in there anymore. Well, it's the Democrats that lined them out, you retard. These guys are so clueless. And then we have a cartoon of a video of him killing AOC. And now Republican, they want blood. You know, it's amazing to me. For a long time, conservative people, center-right people just thought the progressives on the left and the leftists were just misguided. No, they're not misguided. They're freaking nuts. And they're evil, and all they care about is power. And they think that everybody that's right of center is a Nazi. I'm tired of bringing a knife to a gunfight. I hope they wipe them all out. Not for power's sake. To cleanse Washington the best you can. There's a lot of cleansing to do. Frustration and over a panic that refuses to end. Yeah, that you did. An inflamed culture war. Which you guys control the culture. So if there is a war, that's your fault. And questions about Biden's leadership that spiked with press coverage of the Afghan withdrawal. Spiked press coverage. They left billions of dollars of equipment. I believe it was 13 service members were murdered, and dozens and dozens or more, maybe even hundreds in the bombing of Afghan citizens. And they call it press coverage. A new survey shows congressional Republicans leading a generic ballot 51-41, their biggest margin in the 40-year history of the question. And you can read the rest of it. I'm not going to read all of this. But 2022 will fought on a wildly uneven playing field thanks to the every 10 years congressional map strategy known as gerrymandering. It's not the fact that the Democrats, the progressive leftists, suck so much and created so much chaos, misery, and suffering and death. It's because the Republicans cheated with gerrymandering. They're making excuses already. Republicans control the majority of state legislatures partly because of their radical gerrymandering a decade ago, or for the most part using that edge to create a national map that would make next year's midterm outlook bleak for Democrats, even if the party bounced back to roughly even in these polls. So they're making excuses already. Now I'm going to breeze through some of this. You can stop the video. I think this is great. A Biden impeachment. The most extreme Republicans of Capitol Hill have been chomping at the bit to hold Biden impeachment hearings. In fact, 4 GOP House members filed lost cause impeachment articles against the 46th president back in September, citing a hodgepodge of supposed causes such as temporary chaos in Afghanistan. There's still hundreds of Americans left there. Tens of thousands of Afghans. Their life is just misery now. Many of them dead and tortured. Executed in public. Last spring's surge in migrants at the border. Last spring's surge in migrants. No, they're unlawful. They're unlawful. One of the main responsibilities of the federal government is to guard the border. And they failed on purpose. And his handling of the then eviction moratorium. Yeah. I didn't own any rental property, thank God. I used to years ago. Unbelievable. But all the businesses had to pay their rent. All the property owners had to pay the property taxes and insurance, so they lost the buildings. But you couldn't collect money for over a year. What were they supposed to do? Given the parties Trump inspired, I like that, Trump inspired, tit-for-tat revenge against Democrats, it's not hard to picture a 2023 effort to put Biden on a par with POTUS 45, who was impeached twice for the Ukraine scandal and the January 6th insurrection. Give me a break. The end of accountability for January 6th and Trump's failed coup. I'm just reading this because these people are so screwed up. Revenge-obsessed 118th Congress will spend most of the time on Benghazi-style hearings. Yeah, that was a fiasco. Yeah, they let those poor people die. Americans serving our country overseas. In an effort to censure left-wing members of the so-called squad. Censure? These people are ridiculous. McCarthy-led House would likely ignore the economy and other critical issues in favor of banning abortion and teaching of critical race theory. See? They don't give a good damn. That's what they're going to complain about, abortion and critical race theory. Well, I'll tell you what, the economy was cruising right along. First 2 years of Trump's presidency, in fact, the first 3. I'm just going to breeze through the rest of this. And here's the last paragraph I'll read. So far, 2021 has only showed that winning a key battle did not end this war. If anything, what Republicans are willing to do with Trump out of power could ultimately prove an even greater threat to democracy than actually having the authoritarian yet inept Trump in the White House. Authoritarian? You guys handcuffed him at every given opportunity. What did he do that he didn't have the power to do with the authority legally? Nothing. Inept? You want to call inept? Compared to Biden? At least Trump was his own man. And he was the president. He made a decision. He kept it. Democrats need to begin sounding this alarm quickly. Oh, no. That voters were turned out in near record numbers in 2020. I can't go into that in detail because this is YouTube. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. This is the last day of 2021. Do not be surprised if there's shutdowns and attempts at mass mailing absentee voting all the way through November of 2022. It is the only way they can get these near record numbers. To defeat the culture of Trumpism, need to defy history and show up next November to prevent something even worse. Yes, today's electorate is tired of chaos, but they should wait until 2023 because they ain't seen nothing yet. What chaos? When Trump was president, the first 2 years, the country was smoothly just zooming along. This is the way these people actually believe this. They actually do. They're mentally ill. Look, don't get me wrong. Trump is no saint, nor do I care if he's a saint. The man said he was going to do things when he ran for president. When he got to be president, he actually was doing the things that he said he was going to do. And that pissed them all off. Everybody complains about the fact politicians promise things and never do them. He tried to do them and they got mad. These people are bipolar at best. They're cult-like morons living in this bubble, this different reality, world reality than the rest of the world lives in. And I hope and I pray there's enough America First Republicans next year to get elected and push out the old Republican neocons, that they do retaliate. They do go after the people that are taking this country down, and they start with Biden. What's the point of going to battle if you're not going to fight back? We've gave the Democrats way too much ground. We gave them both houses. We gave them the White House, all of social media, all of cable news, all of Hollywood and culture, music, sports, everything, all the universities, high schools now and junior high schools, and now they're going after kids in elementary school. And in some cases, CRT in preschool, believe it or not. And they're complaining? All we can do is fight back. And they don't like it. They've been going after conservatives for decades. I know this video is running a little long, but I think this is important. They're like the bully on the playground that beats everybody up. And then when one kid stands up to him and punches him in the face, they start crying and scream unfair. Too bad. They're in for a rude awakening. At every single level of government, from city council member to mayor to dog catcher to county executive, county legislatures, at the state level, congressional level, and the presidential level, do not vote for Democrats for the next 5 to 10 years. Clean up this mess. It's up to us. The challenge is put before us. Are we going to step up to the plate? It's up to you. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.